How's it going, guys? So if you follow me on Twitter, the other day I tweeted out something and retweeted something that a lot of people saw, and I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, you really should, because sometimes important stuff does happen there. What happened is that if you don't know what's going on in the United States right now, there's a huge hot topic about video games causing violence and causing people to be more violent, especially teenagers and males and that sort of thing. And a lot more heat is being sort of given to video games again, based on recent mass violent situations that have been happening, and it's been getting a lot of exposure on news networks and whatnot, and it's not fun stuff, but pretty much what's happening. Someone tweeted me a link the other day where CNN had a segment with one of their discussions / debates on video game stuff, once again, on whether or not it does cause people to be more violent and does train people to kill people and whatnot and that sort of thing. And the funny thing is that they used a couple of YouTubers' footage, and I don't know who the other one or other people that they used were, but one of them was me. It was my Grand Theft Auto 3 thing. It was a pretty unique situation in which the AI driver of a van kept driving into a wall. And not only was it uploaded in the series of Grand Theft Auto 3, it was also uploaded as its own video. So I'm sure quite a few of you know what I'm talking about. It was when the van had like almost all the damage, and it was about to blow up, and he kept driving into a wall, and he wouldn't go into the garage, and I was getting really mad. So in the video, during that segment, they were talking about how Grand Theft Auto kind of promotes killing prostitutes for points, which isn't really true. You don't really get points for killing prostitutes. And then they had that footage, which was odd because it was in no way related to what they were talking about. I don't know if they just wanted footage from the game, which they probably just had someone, YouTube a decently viewed video on Grand Theft Auto, and it just so happened to be mine. That's probably on one of the first few pages of whatever they searched, and it was kind of funny. This video is not actually me bitching about them using the footage, because I don't care, and as far as I know, it's not illegal. So a lot of people were, saying, oh, you should sue them. Well, it's kind of petty to sue over, and I don't think I have legal grounds anyway if I wanted to, but I just wanted to talk a little bit on the subject because it's such a hot issue apparently right now that a lot of people are saying, these games are training people and children and teenagers to go out and shoot people, and if you play Halo, you'll know how to shoot a gun and you'll want to do it and all that sort of stuff. So I'm sure a lot of us have heard stuff like that, but it was just kind of funny because it sparked my interest in talking about it, because they used my footage. They probably didn't know who it was. They didn't know that I'm a decent sized YouTuber who does commentary over video games, and I have a decent following, and that more likely than not, that was going to get back to me. And as you know, I'm probably not for that. I'm usually not for saying, okay, video games is causing all of these people to go nuts and go out and shoot people and stab people and want to kill people and whatnot. I'm sure over the history, there are a couple cases where that is true, where someone played a game and they wanted to go ahead and do stuff like that. But what about movies? What about television? What about music? What about, different sort of plays and stuff, any form of entertainment where you have some sort of violence and someone sees it, I'm sure someone's going to go, that might be a good idea, which it's not, actually, by the way, but for the most part, I don't think people are going to think like that. I'll use myself as an example because I think it's a pretty decent example, and I don't have anyone else to use an example other than, other friends, but I play games a lot. And you guys probably know that, because if you watch the channel, you would see that I have a lot of videos. I upload, several videos on a daily basis and whatnot. So I play a lot of games. I play a lot of different games. I play violent games, non-violent games, car games, a couple of those, a couple puzzle games, Mario. I play Mario, so I pretty much, ping-pong between a lot of different stuff. But, I've been playing these games since I was, really young. I started out on Mario, and probably the first, maybe Mortal Kombat, I guess if you want to call that. That was a huge deal back in the day. In the early 90s, parents were protesting that, saying, it's way too violent, but which by now Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo or Sega is laughable, but that's what they were protesting back then. But I've played, Grand Theft Auto, I've played Call of Duty, first-person shooters and whatnot, and guess what? I don't have a criminal record. I've never been in jail. The only time I've gone to a police station were acts taken out on me, or I was a witness of something like that. So, as far as I know, I have no criminal record. I've never assaulted anyone. I've never shot anyone. I've never even fired a gun. Stuff like that. I don't have any violent history. And I've been playing, violent games for years and years. The difference is that I knew at a very young age the difference between something that was fake and something that was real, between, running over someone in GTA and shooting someone in real life. I knew the difference very early on, and my parents made sure I knew that difference before buying anything for me, because I wanted to make sure that I knew the difference, that, okay, this is, if you do this in the real world, that's wrong, you're going to get in a lot of trouble, and it's really dumb, and you shouldn't do it. And, if you do it in this game, it's fine. It's a game. It's fake. Real fake. You get it, right? Most people get it. Unfortunately, they blame a lot of stuff now on games because it's interactive. They think it's like a training simulator somehow. I don't know how. Funny story, I've played paintball once. A couple summers ago, I went to a paintball event near Chicago. I know some of you will probably remember that. Max did a lot of, I don't know if he did a lot of videos, but he did a couple videos on that. I might have done a video on it or so. And not only did I almost shoot myself twice, because I don't know how to handle any gun, and that's why I don't go around any gun, because I would probably be, an idiot and screw something up. But it was a paintball gun anyway. I almost shot myself twice, and I didn't even hit anyone with the gun. Like, all the FPS games I played offered no training towards firing any sort of gun. Which is funny, because that's, you play Halo, it's like combat simulator. No, it's, at least for me, like, unless I'm the one person where it doesn't help at all, I don't think that game will help anyone learn to fire a gun. Like, if someone gave me a gun and was like, okay, reload that, I'd be like, is there like, what, how do I reload? Like, this has to come out somehow. Is there like a little button I have to press in to get it to come out and then put, like, I don't know any of that stuff. I've played so many shooting games and I still don't know. Like, they keep blaming video games, and like I said, there's probably a few cases where it actually did contribute. I don't know. I can't say there's never been a case in the history where, this hasn't contributed towards something, but my belief is that if a person's going to play a game and go, that's a good idea, I'm going to run over some people, they already had a problem in the first place. Like, we've had problems as a society since the beginning of society, since the beginning of civilization, since the beginning of man. We've had fights and wars and killings before television and movies and video games and electronics and all that stuff. And I don't know why they keep going back to it. It's like, video games is kind of the new kid on the block. It's interactive, and they're gonna keep attacking it until something happens. And for the most part, I think it's up to the parents to kind of watch what their children watch and watch what they play and try and deal with it as well as they can. But I mean, not everyone's gonna grow up the same. Like, even if you're a really good parent, your kid might still end up being screwed up. Like, sometimes there's just no helping it. And I mean, I'm sure there's a way to kind of limit the stuff that happens and whatnot, but I don't know. It's hard to continue seeing news segments where they're like, oh yeah, guns, video games are more violent, more dangerous than guns. That was what a senator or a congressman or someone said recently. Like, video games are more dangerous than guns. How? I don't, like, okay, odd job. I'm odd job now, like, throwing discs at people. Like, I don't understand, like, how people do that, but I just wanted to touch base on the subject and talk about it a little bit. If I remember, I'll link the other video, the CNN video. If I can remember, I'll try to, and I'll probably try to link the GTA video I talked about. But I'm sure a lot of you will recognize it and whatnot, because it was a pretty unique thing that happened. So it's getting a little bit ridiculous that, it's just funny that they used bigger YouTubers' footage and stuff, and people recognized it and were like, hey, yeah, you're featured on CNN because they're talking about video games and how terrible they are and whatnot. And as I go out, if I can quote Ricky Gervais on one thing, just because you're offended doesn't make you right. That's about it. So thank you for watching. I will talk to you guys later.